And let me try to swerve some of this attention you give to them distant ass relatives over ham dinner. If they really missed you so much, why don't they just call it?
Who loans your money, homie? Who owes you cash? Who lets you dip in their stacks for the bash? Much money gotta assume when you hit your first net and your homies was in the other ball. Homies, homies, talk about bird dogs. Homies, homies, talk about bird dogs.
Coming to you live from the Creaky Tiki Studios on a deserted island somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, we welcome you to Such Good Shoot, the podcast about anything and everything from the world of wrestling. First on our panel tonight, we have the reigning, defending SGS champion, the Ganja Ninja, representing the ideals of classic wrestling. We have Isaac.
Yes, grab your Fagos, everybody.
And in the other corner, we have the cloud chasing, can crushing, showcasing the modern era of wrestling, Shane.
Whoop whoop.
And finally, the bourbon bastard and the stogie slayer. I'm your host, Dozer. Let's get it on. Okay, before we get started in earnest, I just want to take a moment to resurrect the dead segment and bring back our rest in peace. This week, he at least died of old age. We give a toast to Mr. Wrestling number 2. He is best known for his run in Georgia Championship Wrestling, and we don't know much about him. So, here's to you.
Rest in peace.
That is a great shot glass and horrible at the same time.
Yeah.
You make a mess there, bud?
Yeah, the fucking cigar rest in it dribbles every time.
Is that the official Tobaccology shot glass?
Yeah.
Tobaccology is a classy establishment that would never associate with our podcast, but we love them nonetheless.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Great dudes. Real quick, speaking of a not great dude, Isaac, I think you might want to take the reins on this one, brother.
Are you talking about me? Am I not a great dude?
Oh no, you're a wonderful man. I'm talking about a guy who handles the production for a rather large.
Are you talking about fucking Bucky Beaver?
Yes, Kevin Dunn.
Kevin fucking Dunn. Kevin fucking Dunn. When did he start in fucking WWF? Was it 1984?
9,000 years ago.
No, like legitimately, I think it was either 1984 or 1987. I was born in 1984. That motherfucker is so out of touch with reality. It is insane. If any of the rumors are true, which I wouldn't hesitate to believe for a second, because he's fucking nuts and he's forcing fans not to wear masks because of production value, and because if they don't wear a mask, they're not a real fan. Like, I don't care. Like, do what you want, but don't fucking tell other people what they can or can't do. You know, like if somebody wants to wear a mask and go see wrestling, what the fuck?
People wear the fucking luchador masks all the time. I wonder why that's an issue, but this isn't.
I think this is the one thing we're all in agreement on is fuck Kevin Dunn, but not in a pleasurable way.
No, Kevin Dunn.
No, dude. Dry dick.
Shit. Kevin Dunn is a piece of shit smear on literally the world and professional wrestling. Yeah. Mostly professional wrestling, but Kevin Dunn.
No, he's
sucks.
I've said it before, and I think he is the single worst thing that's ever happened to professional wrestling. People can talk about Vince Russo, people can talk about Vince McMahon even, but when it comes down to it, Vince McMahon at least has knowledge on the wrestling business, whereas Kevin Dunn doesn't know shit about wrestling. He's been in the business 30-something years, and he doesn't know shit about it.
Real quick, just to let people know what we're talking about, a report surfaced today that apparently Kevin Dunn, last night at the Raw tapings, apparently with a real crowd, forced fans to take off their masks if they were involved. He also apparently told them, the fans themselves, that if they were actually fans of wrestling, they wouldn't wear a mask. And like Isaac said, you do what you want. I'm not going to get into mask pandemic nonsense other than about wrestling, but that is absolutely despicable if that's the case.
It's insane.
Like, they paid more than likely to be there, even if they didn't.
I don't think they paid. I think they were there for free.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they were friends and family, but they had to sign fucking waivers and shit. And then lo and behold, what do we find out? A random employee is tested positive with COVID.
Yes. So
now they have to delay tapings.
Yep. So now that we've covered the entire news segment for this week, I'm just going to go move that. Doing it live, people.
Kevin Dunn is a big fucking piece of shit. It's another thing that we all agree on, and Cornette agrees on even.
I think even Vince fucking Russo agrees on fuck Kevin Dunn.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, Vince Russo just agrees with anything that gets, like, popped, though, so.
Listen here, man, brother. I'm going to be honest with you for a second, bro.
AEW is totally owned by WWE, bro.
I'm telling you right
it's
now, it's all a work.
They're in collusion.
Bro.
They're in collusion.
It's a work.
Man. That fucking piece of shit.
As we speak about our least favorite wrestling backstage people, let's talk about our least favorite wrestler. So, Isaac, who is your least favorite wrestler?
Oof. This one was took me. I've been sitting on this question all week, ruminating. Kept me up last night. Kept me up the night before. The night before that, I slept great, like a baby. I was out cold. But the night before that, I was up all night again thinking. And, it was a really tough decision, but there was really only one choice. That's the Great Khali. What a shit stain on wrestling he was.
Okay.
Yeah, Great Khali sucks.
Shane, who's your least favorite wrestler?
This question got brought to me. I was not thinking about it like Isaac was for the past week or whatever. I tend not to think about bad wrestling unless I think it's funny. So I was thinking about it for approximately 5 minutes, and I was like, wow, I'm like, who am I going to choose? I was like, no way, Jose. But he didn't really make it. Who cares? Like, I was thinking of all sorts of really horrible indie guys and hardcore dudes. And then I just went, oh yeah, it's probably the Great Khali. And by probably, I mean definitely.
The worst.
So I put the question out to you guys. So I thought about it for a little bit. And, there were two options in my book. There were two options.
What was the
the first one was the Giant Gonzalez.
Yeah,
but then it was brought to my attention the Giant Gonzalez didn't defeat The Undertaker for the World Heavyweight title. So the only answer is the Great Khali.
Yes.
There's nobody that has sucked worse than him.
Yeah. So, such a round table. We all agree. Do we want to do another one? On the spot. No pressure.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Bring it on. Let's talk about wrestling.
Okay. So, who wants to be put on the spot first? Or should I go first because I know the question?
Shane, put Shane on the spot.
Shane,
I'll go.
On the spot. Who is the biggest waste of talent in wrestling today?
Randy Orton.
Okay. Defend your point.
Randy Orton by a lot. And I don't necessarily think it's any way they booked him. I don't think it's any way he's been presented. Randy Orton is he's absolutely just an engagement issue. Like how much he wants to be involved. Because it is painfully fucking obvious when Randall does not want to be there. It is so absolutely painful. His promos are lethargic. They're slow. The entire match is a fucking rest hold other than him getting his normal 5 spots in, the RKO, the stomps. He'll tease a punt. He'll do,
The DDT.
He'll do the DDT, and then he'll do
the scoop slam.
The scoop slam, yeah. I mean, and that's it. But when Randy really wants to be on, Randy can be amazing.
Oh,
I
God,
mean,
I agree on that.
I would say he's probably the best natural talent in WWE.
Yeah, I mean, and you just talk about the pedigree of his family, what his family did, obviously Cowboy Bob Orton, and you think about all of just this pedigree and this history, and then you look at Randy, and then you go, wow, I can't wait to see if he's even cares about this match. And it just sucks. I mean, because I would love to look at Randy as like a John Cena. And even if John Cena wins and it's kind of bullshit, you kind of know John Cena is going to put on an all right match. Randy is just a shit show. Who knows? Does he care? If he does, it's probably going to be good. If he doesn't, it's going to be 20 minutes worth of slog, and he's going to look bored, and then you're going to look bored, and then you're going to be like, yeah, that happened. Even if you look at the match versus Seth Rollins at Mania, when the night Seth Rollins won the title, 2016, 17? Something like that. Even the match with Seth Rollins that everyone remembers, the RKO out of space, which was awesome, the match itself was so fucking boring. It was so boring. Randy didn't want to be there. He didn't want to be on the mid card. He hit the RKO out of space. That looked great. They moved on. Seth became the big winner at the end of the night. And yeah.
Okay. Isaac?
Yeah.
What do you got to say?
Well, I'll agree to an extent with Randy. I would say Randy is the biggest waste of talent in the sense that he is the only one holding himself back.
Yeah.
But he's been given every title in the fucking company.
Yeah,
he's been pushed to the moon, right? I'm gonna look at it a little different. I'm gonna look at one of the guy who's on the main roster. Well, 2 of them on the main roster, but one in particular who has all the natural talent, all the raw talent, all the charisma, and everything you need to be the greatest wrestler in the business. And I think that's Shinsuke. I think that's Nakamura. I think he's proven himself in New Japan. He proved himself in NXT that he could get over with American fans. And as soon as they brought him up, Vince and probably Kevin Dunn, they just look at him as another Asian guy, and they treat him as such. And they've saddled him with the worst shit, and they have not let him live up to the potential. The other one I would say is, and it's the same sort of thing, I don't think he has the same charisma, maybe natural charisma, and like a bit like just draw that it factor where you just want to fucking like watch this guy. But is Ricochet. He's another one that they don't know what to do with, who is an incredible talent. You watch any of his work any place else, and it's unbelievable. And then you look at what they have him doing there, and I get that they have to be safer, but still, like, it's just a waste of talent on both those guys, but especially on Nakamura. The guy is legitimately one of the greatest wrestlers of our generation.
Yeah, I mean, and real quick, you want to talk about, everything, like all of the intangibles, all of the stuff that just happens. Nakamura has the size. It's not like a big Dick Trev thing where Ricochet is a tiny dude. I mean, and even being tiny as far as professional wrestling, because obviously he's a big dude regardless.
Yeah.
But I mean, Nakamura is a large man,
and he can work with anybody. His style works with big people, with high flyers, with anybody. He can have a match with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And they just treat him as a goddamn joke, and it's like infuriating and heartbreaking at the same time, because anytime you go watch Wrestle Kingdom 9, and you just like, Jesus Christ, Like you can just listen to JR like cream himself over this guy.
You don't even have to go that far. Just go watch this shit in NXT.
Yeah, that's great too. But I mean, just when he was on top of the game, that was what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Like Japan, and like going and seeing just how over he is and how over he can get with huge crowds. Yeah, it's just a waste. It's a
I mean,
complete
they
waste.
even wasted a great theme song on him too. I mean, the
Mhm.
theme is so good. I mean, they wasted it in many ways.
So many ways. So
Yeah.
again, we have everybody approaching this question from a different angle. I am looking at the people that were in WWE, are still wrestling, but have been moved out of the WWE system as biggest waste of talent, that never got the platform they deserved.
All right.
And
like
I
that.
have two. And oddly enough, I am pulling both of these guys from the NWA right now. So we have Aaron Stevens, formerly
Yes.
Damian Sandow.
God, I love him.
That man was given shit gimmick after shit gimmick after shit gimmick. And he proved himself to up the level every time.
He got everything over.
Yeah.
This man could have been, I don't want to say he could have been the next John Cena, but he could have been a title chaser. He could have been there consistently.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, a constant mid-card intercontinental US. You know what I mean? Constantly on a pay-per-view, and if he wasn't, it's because he was building to the next pay-per-view.
And
absolutely.
what a great schmarmy little heel. He can go from being goofy heel to like nasty heel, depending on how he wants to do it. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to see him as a face. You just want to see him get his ass kicked, and he's fucking great.
Man, I love Damian Sandow as a face with the Miz, though.
Oh,
But even still, that was sort of like not meant to be face.
He was a face working with the heel Miz. Like, he wasn't a face. He was a heel.
Yeah.
But the fans just fucking loved him because he was fucking great. He made
Because
a
he's
shit gimmick.
Yeah. Then they ruined him.
And then the other one I have is the amazing Stu Bennett, a.k.a. Wade Barrett.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, bad news, Barrett.
That man had the it factor. He could have been a multiple-time world heavyweight championship until Cena pulled out his goddamn shovel and buried the whole goddamn NXT. Well, sorry, Nexus.
Yep.
I mean, so what we're hearing other than Randall is that the issue is WWE is saddling with these wrestlers with bad gimmicks. And then they get over, and then they just bury them some more.
Yeah.
Well, WWE doesn't want anyone to be bigger than the brand.
And I think we can all agree on an honorable mention here of Zack fucking Ryder.
Yeah.
Yeah, another waste of talent.
Yeah. I mean, you know, as far as Wade Barrett goes, and just like Sandow, man, Bad News Barrett shouldn't have been anything. You could tell it was a fucking joke that they wanted to do for like a month. And the crowd caught on because Wade Barrett put everything into it that he had, and he became over, and then he turned face, and he started doing shit with heel wrestlers, and then he just lost, and that was it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reality is
he was king of the ring. He was king
debut,
of the fucking ring.
And his debut with the Nexus was one of the best wrestling debuts in the 2000 era. Probably the best wrestling debut since fucking Kane debuted.
Yeah, I mean, everything really caught everyone's attention.
Yeah. And then Cena buried him, and even Jericho, he'll talk about it on his podcast. He was saying that he tried to talk Cena out of ending that Survivor Series match the way they did, and he's like, "You need to let Barrett go over. Like, you need to let him win." And he's like, "No, I'm gonna get the heat back and like really like put him over by," and he just fucking beat him. You know, like it was like 3-on-1. And it was just like, all right. And he got back and he's like, shit, you're probably right. I probably shouldn't have done that. And you're like, yeah, no shit, you shouldn't have done it. That was the hottest thing going in wrestling for fucking ever.
Yeah.
It was so good. And they just fucking ruined it, like everything.
Yep.
It's so close. So close, man. No,
Fuck
I
Kevin
agree.
Dunn.
Yeah, fuck Kevin Dunn. That could be the title for this fucking episode. Oh man, yeah.
So,
But the one thing we should definitely do an episode where we do a nice long round table and talk about NWA and their roster, because I want to talk about Nick Aldis at some point and how incredible he is.
I
much
do want
rather
to point out on the Wheel of Shit or the Wheel of Random, there is the NWA 2019 Crockett Cup.
Awesome.
We have modern NWA wrestling on there.
Fucking awesome. I'm so down.
NWA, before COVID, had been killing it.
It was so good.
Do we have anything 2 weeks from now? I don't think we do. So I think we can spin the wheel for 2 weeks from now.
Yes, I will.
Maybe there might be light at the end of the tunnel.
I will have to get the wheel ready. I did not have it ready, but it takes a minute to get ready. But I'll get that.
That's fine.
Either way, I want to talk about Nick Aldis on a future podcast because he's.
There's plenty of great promotions that we could talk about forever.
Yeah.
Hey, we could discuss.
Well, we'll do a Lucha Underground one and a New Japan one too. Stay tuned, folks.
Hey, to all 30-some of our fans down there in the comments section, would you like us to do months dedicated to certain promotions? A month of New Japan, a month of NWA.
Yes. Oh, so much good wrestling out there that we could focus on instead of all the garbage.
Put it down in the comment section below. You won't because, nobody comments.
Yeah, I comment sometimes.
Yeah.
And then send titty pics. I don't think that the titty pics will go through in the comment section, so just send them to us. SGSpodcast605@gmail.com.
Boom.
Titty pics to there.
In time for our main event of the evening. Oh, sorry, I don't know.
Yes, and our main it is time for our main event of the evening. And tonight we figured we'd mix it up. We have some Dear SGS, where we have some Dear Sally letters. Right? I'm just kidding. We watched the shit stain of wrestling that was goddamn Backlash.
Oh my
Sorry,
God.
Spoiler alert. That was my feelings. I don't care what the other reviewers said. It was shit.
It was shit.
I kept on repeating, it's the worst.
And this is somebody who loves garbage. He said
it's so bad.
I prayed for Vince fucking Russo.
It was so bad. It was so long. Every match, other than the matches that didn't go long, went long. There were a couple matches that were okay, and then they could have gone a little longer, but
I've been to 2 Manias, and going to Mania is an even longer fucking event than it is when you're watching on TV. And they felt shorter than this shit.
It is incredible. Incredible, especially coming off the heels of not the greatest pay-per-view, but God, it was good. NXT's TakeOver was really good.
Yeah.
And so it's these fuckers know how to produce good wrestling. And then you come and you have fucking Backlash. Good Lord. Fuck Kevin Dunn.
Fuck Kevin Dunn.
Fuck Kevin Dunn.
This pay-per-view started in the kickoff show, which we did not watch.
Thank God.
I don't know. That sounded like the best match of the night.
I know, but God, we would have had that, and then we would have had to watch fucking 3+ hours of garbage after it. No, I don't need any more of that.
So in the kickoff show, Apollo Crews defeated Andrade for the United States Championship with interference by Angel Garza and Kevin Owens. In a tie for some reason. Anybody know why he was in a tie? I only watched clips. Why was he in a tie?
I have no idea. I've never seen them call a tie in a run-in before, but...
No, he had a tie on.
Oh, I thought you said it ended in a tie.
No, Kevin Owens was magically wearing a tie with his cut-off T-shirt.
Professional. Do not judge him.
I had no idea. I have no idea. No.
So then this pay-per-view kicks off. We have Bayley and Sasha defending the Women's Tag Team Championship, a belt which does not get enough recognition, does not get enough airtime, against Alexa
WWE's
Bliss
fault.
and Nikki Cross and the Iconics.
Yes. I fucking love it. Oh,
Connect.
shit. And
Yeah.
now it's better when Steven does it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. This match I don't remember really anything about. I remember it started and then there was some disarray teased amongst some of the teams, and then it just ended. And that was it.
It was a match.
It was definitely a match. It was
It showed
In
promise.
in
There was
hindsight, it was
issue.
one of the better matches of the night.
By far. I
The
as soon as
the Iconics are great. They're really good. I fucking love Bailey and Sasha. I didn't. It wasn't offensive. It just was. It wasn't the best like start to a pay-per-view. But I mean, it would have been a good match to go on, either second or after a really like exciting match to like give the crowd a time to cool down. But
So I think I have a couple production notes that could have made this pay-per-view better, but we'll get to that at the next match.
yeah, I gave that one. I mean, I gave that one 2 stars just because it was an actual wrestling match. There was some wrestling. I liked the participants, and it just wasn't that great.
Yeah. I mean, two stars. I really feel like it could have been better than 2 stars if they would have let it go longer. But the shit was like 9 minutes.
Yeah.
And then
if
it
that
just
had been
ended.
if that had been on a takeover, and they could have like actually wrestled, it could have been fucking epic. Like I would
Yeah.
love to see that same match on a takeover card.
I just would like to have seen that same match with a live crowd in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, even
love
just
Bliss.
on a normal show. I mean, they didn't give the ladies, especially with that crowded of a match, they didn't give them any time to work. And you got 6 people working, you give them 9 minutes.
Yeah, and
That's not even 2 minutes a person.
for some of this other shit we'll get to. They had plenty of time for fucking American Ninja Warrior.
This is not an American Ninja.
So I'll just go with the consensus. 2 stars. That was a 2-star match. It was a match.
It was
and
a
they
match.
wrestled.
It wasn't bad. It just wasn't good.
So up next, we have Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy. And before we get anywhere, I just want to point out, this match was nearly 17 minutes long.
It felt like it.
At 17 minutes long, this was as long as the women had on the entire card. Both women's matches combined were shorter than this match.
Which just sucks. And I don't want to take everything over from the beginning, but I feel like I should with this. I have been paying next to no attention to Raw or SmackDown because of no crowd. I haven't really been paying any attention to any week-to-week show. I've been watching a little AEW. I've been kind of keeping up. But the build to this match was absolutely despicable.
I just want to know how Jeff Hardy pissed like an entire quart of piss.
Well, Sheamus said he was just drinking so much the night before.
Hey
man, I swear to God, when I wake up in the morning, I could fucking fill 2 of those things.
Yeah, I mean, but the build to this match was absolutely despicable. Jeff Hardy has very serious drug and alcohol issues, and the whole story of this match was him having drug and alcohol issues.
Sheamus literally bullying him for
it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sheamus is one of the faces of the Be a Star campaign.
Yeah, seeing that, I literally mentioned, pull the curtain back a little bit, me, Dozer, Isaac, and my girlfriend Erin watched, and I was like, I don't even want to watch this match. I was like, there's nothing about this I want to see. And I think Sheamus is actually underrated. I think the dude can go.
Yeah,
and Jeff
I
Hardy
like
is
Sheamus.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy is Jeff Hardy. But I was like, there is no portion of this match that I want to see. Like, it was disgusting.
I don't think it was a bad match.
The finish was all right.
There were a couple spots where I don't think they thought them through before doing it. Like, Jeff Hardy went to do his run on the barricade. And like you could tell when he got up, he completely forgot there was plexiglass there. And he like ran into it.
Stuff of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't look so good.
It took a little bit away from the move since he wasn't balancing on it. He was holding it. It was a little weird, but okay, whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, don't hate the plexiglass. So
no, my biggest thing with that match is, I mean, regardless, well, I'll get into the promotion of it in a second. But my biggest issue with the match itself was that it was just too long. Yeah. They could have gotten. So the last thing that happened was, Sheamus got the piss thrown in his face. So if Hardy comes and beats him after that, you kind of have to let Sheamus win, but like, you don't have to make it take 17 goddamn minutes before the next, you can have that payback match where Hardy finally gets his revenge. But
and that better be a fucking ladder match.
Yeah, or something along those lines. But like,
piss on a pole match.
I think the match
Bruce
itself.
was involved.
Yeah, I think the match itself was a 3.5-star match. I am going to say it's a 1.5-star match though, because the build really was fucking so atrocious. So I'm taking two stars off for the promo to it, and the awful angle of him getting in the DUI, and the awful fucking piss in the cup shit, and the obvious Kevin Dunn and Vince fucking let's throw piss in his face joke.
So,
because fuck Kevin Dunn.
I'm going with 2 stars on this one. It would have been a 3-star match if they would have shaved 3 minutes off of it and had this as the opening match on the card, and given those 3 minutes to the women's tag match.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a good call.
Totally agree.
I mean, I'm going to give it a 1 star. I mean, the match itself would have been like 3 to me. I mean, they worked hard during the match, but Jeff always works hard when he's not with otherwise
when he's not turning point Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
if he's there.
I mean, if he's there, Jeff goes. And like I said, Sheamus can work, but the build to this match was just absolutely disgusting. I mean, there's no way I can justify liking this. It's 1.
Okay. So, next on the card, we have Asuka defending her title against Nia Jax.
Ugh.
Yeah, God. I fucking do. I'm sorry, I do not like Nia Jax. I have said it since they first put her on NXT. I thought they put her on NXT TV way too soon. She was green. She was so green on NXT, and then all of a sudden she was on the main roster, and she's, she injures a lot of people, but she's just not that good. And Asuka, I mean, come on, talk about an amazing fucking wrestler.
Yeah.
And you could tell she was struggling to work with her in that match. You could just see it, and it came through, and the finish was fucking dog shit.
And it was so short again.
And it almost felt like it was an accidental, like, Nia just forgot where she was and got counted out. And, like, it was that bad that it was either, like, a complete accident or, like, somebody's just a fucking moron writing that shit, because it was just stupid. It was just dumb. It didn't do anybody any favors. Nobody looked good.
No, I mean, you have Asuka, who was more or less taking over the face Raw Women's title reign from Becky, right? Who they had clearly no plans of letting her drop the title, and they had no plans of letting her be in this match. There's no way they would have let Becky be in this match, like the way it ended.
No.
And then you have Asuka.
And that's her first real title defense on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, and you have Asuka, who is a legitimately ingrained talent, even on WWE main roster. It's not even an NXT thing. It's not like you should watch what she did in New Japan, but not New Japan, but in Japan, and then she is here. No, you absolutely should. But it's not even a familiarity issue. This was just WWE not having faith in a Japanese wrestler and letting Nia, who hurts fucking everyone she touches. I was a Nia fan, unlike Isaac. I like Nia. I especially like Nia when she turned face before she faced Alexa Bliss at Mania. I thought that was a great role for her, where she was just like an ass kicker. She was big, but she was very, in tune with all of the fans and like, hey, like if you're big, it's cool, blah blah. Like I thought that was cool. But Nia has no place in WWE today. Nia especially has no place facing the fucking Raw Women's Champion for 9 goddamn minutes to a double fucking count out.
Fucking stupid. The only thing you could do with Nia is you fucking have her be your fucking like valet bodyguard, like China was, but it's been done. But then you don't have her facing women and hurting people. She gets to just be the tough guy and fucking go in and throw her weight around a little bit and fuck with men. And that creates heat, whatever. But like, yeah, like don't have her working matches. Like she should not be wrestling until she's got a lot more time in the ring.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I liked Nia. I was a full supporter of Nia when she turned face and faced Alexa Bliss. I mean, she's got the smile. She's clearly pretty funny. Like she's got a taste for humor, but she cannot stop hurting people.
What she's really got is she's got The Rock in her family.
I view her as the poor man's Nyla Rose, which is saying a lot because I'm not a fan of either.
At least Nyla can go without injuring everybody, though.
But with their similar names, I get them confused all the damn time. I remember Jack and shit from this match.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember the finish.
Yeah, the finish was so bad, but it wasn't long enough. They didn't build it.
9 minutes.
Half a star.
Yeah, wow.
1 star.
One star. Because I love Asuka. I really love Asuka. And you could tell.
And Asuka fucking tried.
She was trying so hard to make fucking Nia look good. So,
okay, we have that. Now we have some random Green Day song announced as the official theme of Backlash. A theme which we never heard in the context of anything.
No, I think they just played it at that point.
Yeah, I missed that. So Green Day paid them for some shit.
Shameless promo from them.
That leads us into our Universal Championship match, which was Braun Strowman versus The Miz and John Morrison in a handicap match, where whoever pins Braun wins the title, not co-champions.
Wow, we wonder how this was going to go. They combined beat up Braun Strowman for a while, and then John Morrison, who absolutely sucks.
God, I hate you so much sometimes.
I love fucking John Morrison.
Yeah, Johnny Mundo's great. He just doesn't like him because he's so goddamn handsome.
He hits the Starship Pain, I believe, which is the worst finisher you've ever seen in your entire life. Because
Hogan's leg drop exists. Take that back.
And I don't like the Wasteland. Let's go back to Barrett for a second.
All right. Well, no. Here's the thing: is that we're sticking at John Morrison, who has the worst finisher today, which is the Starship Pain, which never actually hits anything. He just does some twirly birds, which Isaac hates, but for some reason loves with John Morrison, who is not Johnny Mundo.
I love Johnny Mundo, bro.
Well, yeah, he's not in Lucha anymore. So you can just give that up. But
Johnny
anyways,
Impact.
Johnny Impact.
And then Miz drags Morrison off, and it's like, oh, what the fuck did I do? Oh, that's so bad. Get on top of him again, and like throws him on top of him, and then Braun kicks out and then hits Morrison with a power slam, and they literally just set up for them to break up.
It was the most entertaining thing we've had so far, except for the music video that they produced. which was the only thing that I actually like enjoyed on this whole pay-per-view. Me, of all people, it was so bad. This shit has been so fucking bad at this point that I actually was like, oh, this is kind of good. I was like, this is kind of funny. But I mean, I don't know. I like Miz. Like, I've come around on Miz. I've always liked John Morrison. I've come around on Miz big time.
I love the Miz.
And I think those two guys are fucking hilarious. They're a great team.
Oh, I do, but they should keep them as a team and not doing this shit.
Yeah, I mean, and I get it. But that's WWE. What are you going to do? They don't give a shit about tag teams.
Let's just talk about the awesomeness that was their tag finisher.
Yes, dude.
That skull-crushing finale with the boot in the head.
Dope.
Yeah, it was
so
awesome.
Good. No, this match for me was probably, watching live, it was the most entertaining match of the night for me. I knew the outcome.
Up to this point, yeah.
I knew the outcome, but
everyone tried.
But it was a fun match. I give it 3 stars. I thought it was good.
I give it 2.5 just because everyone knew the outcome.
3 stars with a half-star bonus, so 3.5 for being the shortest match of the night.
And it felt perfect. It was perfectly timed. If it had gone any longer, it would have been bad. If it had been any shorter, it would have been a waste of time.
Yeah. So that brings us on to our WWE Championship match, which was Drew McIntyre defending against Bobby Lashley with MVP.
Montel Vontavious Porter, baby.
I started checking out at this point of the pay-per-view. This is when I
was checking out a long time before that.
I started getting my fun by ribbing Shane the whole time for my love of Bobby Lashley, and it was driving Shane crazy. It was a boring match. It was not.
It was
very
so
exciting.
long.
Lashley legitimately almost fucking murdered fucking fuck, now I'm all baked. He fucking threw him on the head first, like a goddamn lawn dart into the fucking ground, Drew Mac, and you're just like, I was like, good lord, that is dangerous bump in front of no people.
Well, so I was thinking we're talking about the Golden Lovers versus Naito and Hiromu Takahashi, where Kota Ibushi took the Sunset Bomb on the floor, which you should watch over Backlash.
Oh yeah, dude. I would things that I would rather watch over Backlash.
Capital Combat 90.
Capital Combat
Absolutely.
90. Yeah. A horse giving birth. My parents fucking. That's the top 3 things right now I would rather watch than fucking that ever again.
All right, so as far as my actual feelings on the match, though, it was a match, and it happened, and Big Bob, who I really like to joke about being my favorite wrestler, is really not good. He's not good.
He almost really badly injured McIntyre.
I mean, he is just not good. The story with Lana is absolutely awful. They should have just kept her with Rusev and done the Rusev Day thing, and he would be a megastar. But per normal, Kevin Dunn.
Fuck Kevin Dunn. That's totally the title of this episode.
Doesn't like Rusev, which was kind of well documented that he didn't really like Rusev. And then they split them up, and then you have Big Bob versus Drew. And it was a match that happened, and it was really boring, and it was really just a setup. Big Bob splitting from Lana, and that was it. That was what happened in the match. And I give it 1 star because Drew deserves so much better because he worked so hard.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Man, it was. So
I just want to see. I think fucking,
this. No, go. You want to see what I want to see?
I just want to see like Drew versus Seth. I want to see Drew versus somebody that can fucking work.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
totally. I know. My thing is, fuck Kevin Dunn, and this storyline, the Jeff Hardy storyline is bad, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to assume that Jeff Hardy is fine with it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he has the leverage. I feel like to be like, yeah, I don't think that's cool. I don't want to do that. He's got the pull. I feel like the Lana thing is almost worse because I feel like it's a shot at Rusev.
Yeah.
But apparently it's a storyline Rusev pushed for back in the day.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard that. I just feel, I don't know. I feel like it's just a weird one in 2020, especially to be doing that kind of angle. But it is what it is. It's not my favorite. I give the match 1 star too because Bobby Lashley is just so good.
Oh, hey.
That other guy, whatever, but
Earthworm Jim.
Big Bob, that motherfucker can go.
Oh, he can go so much.
1 star from me. I don't need to give a reason.
We all know why it's not that good.
Yeah. So next. The next isn't an official match on the card, but we got to discuss it. We have the Street Profits fighting the Viking Warriors, Raiders, War Machine, Viking Experience. The guys who eat turkey legs. Shit, that doesn't even work because Otis is out there. The fucking Vikings in a piece of Kevin Dunn contrived bullshit.
I have originally liked the cinematic matches, even though I didn't really like the Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream match. They worked. This was the fever dream of somebody who wanted to make goofy action movies, who came on themselves and said, you know what, I have the money to do this. And then just legitimately squirted their shot, and I mean that in the realest way possible, over.
He's talking about semen. Jerking his penis.
Yes.
He used his hand
all over
it, and he came everywhere because that's the kind of shit Kevin Dunn loves.
And it was so bad. It was so bad.
I threw my headset, knocked over my fucking video chat and phone. Had to take a walk during this shit.
Nonsense to the point where it didn't even make sense in the context of what was going on. There were ninjas that were fucking mentioned on Raw the next night. They had fucking ninjas with Akira Tozawa, who should be getting used a lot more. Akira Tozawa's great.
I mean, it's a goddamn ninja. That's it. That's done. They're fucking racist. They're like, well, we got this Japanese guy. Let's make him a goddamn ninja, pal.
And make him do fucking thing.
He's got motorcycle ninjas. No, he's doing shit.
I swear to God, it's like they fucking just watched what is it, Rush Hour 2 with all the fucking Yakuza fucking bike gangs, and they're like, let's do that, pal.
No, he was doing the shit.
We'll do it with Vikings.
Look,
so I'm gonna set up. Real quick, Dozer. I'm gonna set up this match so they can get into it.
Oh God, we don't need to. Oh Jesus, God.
We don't want to talk about this shit.
Well, no. I want to set up one thing at the start of this match.
This match
was they were fighting in this long,
quarantine hallway,
FEMA camp tunnel that I think was supposed to be the gorilla position.
So,
and it doesn't make any fucking sense. It just starts there.
I can actually make somewhat of sense out of it.
It didn't start there, Shane. It started with them fucking fighting in the parking lot and them suplexing someone onto big old fucking Braun Strowman's brand new windshield.
Oh, sorry. I've forgotten about that. The match really started in the FEMA camp tunnel.
and then went there. But the whole thing was just a waste of time. It ended with them in a goddamn dumpster with a referee telling one of the Vikings that he's cute and the other one isn't. And then they're like, "You're on next. Like your match is up next." And then they say, "Yeah, that match isn't happening anymore."
Because somebody was eaten by a goddamn alligator tail.
Yeah. Oh my God. I would much rather talk about the 3 shits my son took today than I would like to talk about this match. The first one was a little constipated. It was really hard. The second one, not so much. It was perfect. It was nice. And then the last one, what a mess. Fucking just like this match.
You know.
Did your kid take any good shits today, Steven?
I don't know. She went to fucking daycare. I don't have to deal with that shit today.
Yeah. Woo.
But
I don't have any kids. Woo.
Yeah.
It was just fucking no.
It was so bad.
What's the biggest number
I'm the modern person. I am the stalwart. I'm gonna defend flippy shit. I'm gonna defend.
There wasn't flippy shit.
No, that's what I'm saying though.
There was nothing that you could defend about it.
I will defend shit like this, and it was so offensive, and it was so fucking bad. It gets no stars. It gets no stars. I won't even rate it.
No, what's the biggest number there is? Does anybody know? Is it like 60? Is it 70? What's the largest number that we have?
We'll go with a Google.
A Google. I give it a negative Google. It was a negative Google, and if that's the biggest number there is, then that's the biggest negative I have to give. If something comes along that I hate more than this, I might have to buy a new phone or TV because I might throw something through it.
Shlak versus Abdullah Kobayashi.
I would rather watch a Shlak match, bro. That fucking garbage Shlak match. Not even that one. That one was trash. But what was the Shlak versus fucking Nick Gage, where literally they just wrestled on fucking 6 inches of broken glass. Was more palatable for me than fucking that fucking garbage. That whatever they tried to fucking pass as a wrestling.
Our intro hinted at this. I would rather watch the old backyard wrestling DVDs they sold on infomercials late at night in the early 2000s than this shit.
Right? For real.
This was, to borrow a phrase from our favorite reviewer, not Isaac's, Jim Cornette.
Oh no, that's Shane's.
Isaac loves mud show bullshit.
It was as Jim would say. It was
outlaw mud show bullshit though.
It was the
so
drizzling
well
shits.
Yeah.
It was the drizzling shits, as Corey would say. It was horrible.
No disagreement.
It was horrible. There was nothing about this at any point that I was like, oh, at least they have that. They hired apparently the guy who was the 7 foot tall black ninja was the guy they just signed not too long ago as a former basketball player who's legit, like just huge. But like, what a way to fucking even ruin that. You know what I mean? Like,
Zero.
Yeah, negative Google, baby. Fucking Kevin Dunn can Google my fucking balls in his mouth.
I can't even rate it.
It wasn't a match.
0. They give it 0.
Not a match. It's not on the card from Wikipedia. Not applicable. It filled up too much time. You could have given all of that to the first women's match, or to anything else on this card, and it could have been better. And some of these matches already went on too goddamn long.
For real. Yes.
It was the worst.
Okay. So next, we have the greatest match ever. We have Randy Orton versus Edge. Introduced by the dead Howard Finkel.
I thought that was one of the the best parts of the night. Like, it was really good to like have them honor him that way.
I honestly I honestly teared up a bit the first time I watched it.
Yeah, no, that was cool. Shane didn't like it, but at this point, Shane was so angry at the pay-per-view. He and to be honest, we were all pretty like burnt out. I tried as hard as I could to get into the match that night, and I was so tired and angry at that point that it was really that match was really hard for me to get into. It was 40 minutes long.
Yeah, I mean
44-45 is the official.
Yeah, but I did go back and watch it today. In the match itself,
I'm sure it was fine.
It was a good match. It was a really good match. It was a little long. If had it been 28 minutes, I think it would have been an incredible match. There was a lot of rest holds in there because they're all bastards.
I'm sure it would have been all right on a normal pay-per-view with a crowd. To be honest, you know what I mean. Like maybe they would have been like, a little too long, but you know what I mean. Like it would have been that bad, but I mean,
the enhanced production techniques too,
where they pumped in crowd noise was bullshit.
Edited like I said, but like crazy.
I mean, by the time this had happened, and admittedly, I was probably a little drunk.
You had to be at that point.
I mean, but this match went so goddamn long. Like, to the point where it was fucking painful. It was cool seeing Edge. It was cool seeing Randall using holds that they haven't used in years. And, like, they really, really dug into it. And it was, like, a great
Randy
match.
cared.
That you could tell. You could tell that both of them cared about. And they wanted to make this match.
They wanted it to. Yeah, they legitimately wanted that, and they did a fucking good job.
They did especially an admirable job.
Going back and watching it, because when I watched it live, I was exhausted and I was totally burned out. I went back and watched it, and I was fully engaged that whole match for 40 minutes.
Dude, I agree.
When I rewatched it,
not having rewatched it, that I'm sure it was an awesome match. Like, I'm sure it was. But the thing is, you have this match that's 40 fucking goddamn minutes at the end of this show. It is more than half as long as any other match on this show. And you have this mat wrestling technician classic at the end of the show that has lasted almost 3 hours.
Yeah, no,
that you can tell has been edited.
See, and that was my biggest issue with it, is the editing.
It would have been hard to watch that even continuity to me.
Go on, Isaac.
No, I mean, my thing is like, fuck, man, like the best moments in that match, you had Randy busted open and he was fucking covered in blood, and you're like, I was into it. It woke me up. And then fucking the next frame, like they cut away in the next frame, he's clean. He's got like some blood on his nose, but he's clean. And you're like, what the fuck happened? And there's like those continuity errors that just pull you out of it. It's a fucking live sporting event. It's like if you're watching a fucking basketball game, right? You don't want to go to commercial or cut away from the action in the middle of a fucking fast break. You don't want to cut away from a baseball game in the middle of a pitch. You don't want to fucking cut away from the football game like mid-snap.
And that's supposed to be the glory of a pay-per-view. You don't cut away.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, so once you start editing the matches that much, like on, it used to be different when it was on SmackDown, right? You had the pre-taped, you could edit it. It made sense with the fucking commercial breaks. You could do it. On a pay-per-view, it doesn't fucking work. And I think they've proved this every fucking pay-per-view they've done, is that the shit that they edit is fucking trash. That match would have been incredible. I'm sorry, like I know, like the if you just go and watch it in it on its own, that is a really
maybe Edge wouldn't have torn his fucking triceps either.
Yeah, but
I mean, for me, fucking retape.
Yeah, for me, that was a 4-star match, though. It really was. Like, going back, I wouldn't have given that watching it once, but going back and rewatching it when I was awake and when I could focus on it.
I agree. That was a 4-star match because of how much they fucking tried. Mm-hmm. And again, I I work in retail, I work in food, so I value fucking trying, and they both tried so hard. They tried so hard to make this work.
Yeah, I think other
And
than
all
the,
and all of those retakes, even though it's bullshit by a production standard, those retakes are them trying to make this seem good.
So,
and they had some moments. I mean, I kind of liked the nod to Eddie Guerrero. I liked the nod to The Rock and shit. You know, like they had these callbacks, and to win on the punt, like that was fucking awesome. But
Yeah.
I love the
Yeah.
fucking punt, but you know, I'm only giving this 2 stars because I rate my matches as they are on the pay-per-view. I do not rate them individually. And
Right.
as this fell at the end of this drawn-out bullshit pay-per-view, it gets 2 stars. I was too fatigued to appreciate it. And I
Yeah,
think
don't
they were
doubt it.
going, and I hinted to on that night, that they made the other matches a little more shit to make this match that much better.
And it backfired, baby. It
It
backfired.
did. By the end of this, after the bullshit they showed right before this, they showed the most bullshit thing of the night before this, and I'm going, I can't believe a goddamn thing you do.
I wish they had put the AJ Daniel Bryan match on the pay-per-view, taken that fucking bullshit right off. You know, and like even, you know, like you can trim otherwise, but yeah, no, that was the whole pay-per-view gets a 1 star from me. It was one of the worst pay-per-views I've ever seen.
I think this proves that you cannot have 2 cinematic matches on one pay-per-view. 1 star.
Yeah, I
was
mean,
terrible.
it's absolutely 1 star. I mean, I have never, and Dozer and Isaac have known me for, I mean, a pretty long time. I mean, 6-7 years apiece. I mean, I'm 24, just to
He's a
go
little
back the
baby.
curtain. I'm a little baby. But, I mean, I have never, ever acted this negatively towards anything in my life, especially wrestling wise.
Except for Jim Cornette, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Jim Cornette.
Well, yeah, the pay-per-view is dog shit.
Jim Cornette can go fuck
I've
himself.
got something that we can end on that's going to be a little bit lighter than that fucking garbage pay-per-view.
Okay.
I just got my pro wrestling loot box. And I want to share this month's pro wrestling loot box.
Tell us what you got.
So I got it right here. It's a fun one. It's a fun one this month. I'm gonna start with the DVD, The Best of Alex Shelley.
Motor City Machine Gun.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of matches. It looks like from Japan on here, which is sweet.
No, he went to Japan a lot.
So I'm stoked about that. I'm gonna actually pop in a DVD and watch it. I've got this dope car air freshener. It's cherry flavored. And it says Lucha Libre on it. So that's pretty cool. He's not a man. He's a machine. And I got the machine Brian Cage pin.
Survive.
If you can.
If you can.
Yeah.
Beat him if he lets you.
What's really funny is Shane and I have talked about this guy a lot and how much we think he's one of the underrated Guerreros. But Juventud, I got a little Juventud Guerrero.
That's fucking cool.
Hell yeah, dude, that's Juventud. So yeah, he's fun, and it's a really sweet little one. He's got the dope mask, and so yeah, I'm stoked about that. I was definitely stoked about that. I got it's probably the worst.
Go on.
Lucha Libre mask
go.
you've ever seen here.
Take your headphones off. Let's hear this shit.
We'll finish this off like this. Here we go. Yeah, probably one of the worst Lucha Libre masks I've ever seen in my.
Holy shit! We have a live interview here tonight with Excalibur.
Yeah, brother.
Fucking Excalibur. Stop it.
No, I'm Mr. America.
Hey, you can be Mr. Man, call all you want.
Okay.
I've got this poster. I've got a couple more things in here still, and this is a really shitty poster. It's the self-isolation slam. It's obviously making fun of all the current events. So it's a leader in sports quarantinement. Sorry, Corona Joe. Yeah, Spray Wyatt. The King Jerry Lysol.
Brother, get on with the fucking
Rockin'
thing.
Rest Express.
Brother!
John Legion of Lockdown, The Big No, and Jesse Ventilator. And the special guest, Nation of Sanitation.
Dozer is face palming himself. I want to piss myself.
It's so bad.
Go on.
It's so bad. So, that I'll autograph and I'll auction that off later. I also got a limited Legend Loot Crate trading card.
Oh,
and then,
I know who your shit.
This is really actually fucking dope. Look at that. I got my fucking Pentagon Jr. fucking Lucha Underground. Zero Miedo autograph. And I am super, super stoked on that. So, my cat, he's having his fucking moment here. Doing his thing, he's coughing up a hairball or something. It's really dope. Hope that comes through. Anyway, so that's a Pro Wrestling Loot.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor at all. They don't know who we are.
You can sponsor us.
They totally
happily accept it.
And then so on a future episode, maybe next week or the week after, we'll have Shane show his loot crate because he gets a different pro wrestling loot crate, and we're gonna show what they have to offer. So I just wanted to end on something that was a little better than fucking Backlash, because good fucking Lord, was that a
Dozer, we got one more spin in the wheel? Is that what
we
we have right now?
Spin the wheel for 2 weeks from now.
Let's go!
Yeah, brother, spin that wheel.
Next week is the first TNA pay-per-view. This week, Shane, pick a number between 1 and 60.
40.
69. All right.
43, Dozer.
43.
Yeah, 69.
That's why I chose the. Isaac, shut up. No, you're cutting a promo. You're drunk. Stop.
I got a promo to cut here, pal. Here we go.
Keep in mind, this wheel is now going to spin for 43 seconds.
43 seconds?
No. What did I do?
Oh, boy. So.
Oh, I didn't know that at all. Hey,
What up? Do you have any good jokes?
It's coming to an end, people.
A rabbi and a priest crossing the street.
Hey, whoop.
Oh, good. I don't get to finish that joke.
Oh, damn it. Oh, shit. Oh. What does it say?
Halloween. Is that Havoc or Wrestle War?
Wrestle
War.
We're watching Wrestle War, people.
Is that an old so WCW? Bad. Is that bad WCW? Yeah. Oh boy.
That's Lethal Lottery shit.
Oh yes, Lethal Lottery. Holy shit. This is going to be so much fun. I'm so glad we did this. Thank you for picking 43 instead of 69, dude.
42 or 41 would have given us a very interesting pay-per-view people no one's ever seen, and potentially a great wrestling event. Instead,
bad wrestling, which is what you expect from this show, because we cover live wrestling.
It's all so bad. Bad.
On that note, I gotta tell you, like, subscribe, write a comment down below.
Ding the bell.
And send
ding the bell if you want notifications.
And send those titty pics.
Send those titty pics. SGS Podcast 605 at gmail.com. Till next time, I'm Dozer. He's Isaac.
Yo,
Shane. Fuck you, Kevin Dunn.
fuck you, Kevin Dunn.